Okay, so off the back of Derrick Lewis beating Tellison Teixeira UFC Fight Night. Now, this fight happened by the time this video comes out a couple of weeks ago, but I wanted to talk about the UFC heavyweight division and how Derrick Lewis sort of sizes himself up in this division now that he's coming off another win. Right, he's now got back-to-back wins. He's 3 wins in his last four. Back-to-back. Well, all three of his wins, the 3 wins in his last four fights, they've all been by KO or TKO. He's now ranked at number 9 at heavyweight, and once you're in the top 10, realistically, depending on how the weight division pans out, you're realistically 1 to 2 fights away from serious title contention, in my opinion. You know, sometimes if you can get a favourable matchup against someone higher ranked, you win that fight. It only takes 1 fight to get to that point. But really, it should be, 1 to 2 fights, and you're really there. And say Derrick Lewis could rematch someone like Curtis Blades. Say that fight happens, and say Derrick Lewis wins that fight because he done it before. He could do it again. Say he wins that fight, he's then probably next in line for a world title fight, or at least he's really in those conversations. Right now, Tellison Teixeira coming into this fight was regarded as one of the few prospects in the heavyweight division, and honestly, I don't even want to say he's not a prospect anymore because it's Derrick Lewis. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. If Derrick Lewis catches you, you're probably going down and you're probably going out. This was a case where Derrick Lewis forced the action early. He doesn't always do that, but he forced the action early, forced the chaos in the fight, was throwing punches, landed on Teixeira, dropped him, and that was all she wrote. That almost doesn't even tell me. It doesn't tell me anything about Teixeira as a prospect, because all it shows you is that, okay, yeah, Derrick Lewis can still pack a punch. He's still, at heavyweight, one of the big punchers, and if he lands on you early, then you're in trouble. We already knew that. We didn't learn anything new there, right? I think Teixeira can still go on to have a very interesting career at heavyweight. Just because you lose to Derrick Lewis in your second UFC fight doesn't mean you're not able to accomplish anything, right? Even stylistically, again, you really learned nothing from him from that fight. But stylistically, he looks like potentially he could cause a lot of problems. Again, like I said, you didn't know if Teixeira was fast or strong or technically good really from that because it finished so early. Like, what did it last? The first 30 seconds? It was done really quick. So it's hard to tell. But like I said, nonetheless, even stylistically, he's huge. So he can cause problems in that sense, and he's supposed to be more of a striker as well. So we'll see from Tellison Teixeira if he can go on to have a good, interesting heavyweight career. But Derrick Lewis has really put himself back in conversations for not a title fight yet, but probably another fight night main event, another quite nice payday for him. And do you know what I mean? He's only a few fights away from a world title fight, which again would be a huge payday. Of course, a world title fight's always a big payday. Always will be. That's the nature of the game, right? Fighting for the heavyweight title, you're gonna get paid, right? So Derrick Lewis put himself in an interesting place. I mean, who would have thought it, right? In 2025, Derrick Lewis being 1 to 2 fights, so 1 to 2 wins away from a world title fight, right? Especially because he had losses before. He's been beaten before. It's not really a game plan, but it's almost if you can take his shots. If you can stay on the outside or if you can grapple him and hold him down, then you've got a chance. But if you can't, then he's coming to knock your head off. And often it's only a matter of time before he does that. Because he's got the record for the most UFC knockouts, I believe, as well. So, like I said, it's only a matter of time before he knocks you out if you can't stop Derrick Lewis or, null his offense in some sort of way. But yeah. I'd be curious to know what you guys think. Do you think Teixeira can go on to have a good UFC career? And do you think Derrick Lewis is only a few fights away from a title fight? I'd be curious to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Another episode of the Seth Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.